Yo, what is going on, everybody? It's your boy Burst CG back here, and today we are actually talking about the new Guardians of the Galaxy game that was revealed at the E3 Square Enix presentation, developed by Eidos Montreal. And man, let me tell you, I am actually thoroughly excited for the game, regardless of what you may find controversial as far as the single character playable and being Star-Lord in this game. Now, I know that that's a lot to take in, that you only playing as Star-Lord and you controlling everybody else through different actions. Personally, I have some thoughts as to how they can enhance that later on in the game and make it much more fun, so it doesn't feel like Star-Lord is boring in any type of way. You know, and again, this is just our first look at the game. We had a little bit of a gameplay demo, and I thought it was very suspicious that they didn't show anybody else's gameplay. I was like, why are they only showing his gameplay? Why aren't they having him swap characters? You know? But now that we got this explanation a little bit later, we can look at it. Now, there is a IGN article talking about why Guardians of the Galaxy is not a multiplayer game, meaning why can't you play as anybody else except Star-Lord, and they might get into why it's just more of a single-player campaign game. And before we get into the article, I would like to throw in there, just because it's under Square Enix, like their publisher, you know, in development, I'm sure Eidos Montreal and whoever, you know, was head of making the decisions of whether or not it's connected to this or that. I think it was a better decision for them not to have it be connected to Avengers in any type of way, more or less, because for creatively, they have more room to do what they want to do in their universe. You know, it doesn't have to be limited to, oh, Avengers is doing this space arc with Kree and whatnot, so we should have an arc where we interfere with Kree. And yes, you see a Kree skull or Kree head somewhere in there in the beginning of the trailer, but it doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, the game is connected in any type of way. You know, Spider-Man PS4 has a West Coast Avengers reference. It's not, they're not the same, you know? So it's just one of those things where it's like, it doesn't need to be connected. A small reference maybe that another game might have going on, but it's not necessarily the same in this universe. You know, it's fine. So just take it easy, okay? The game can do its own thing, and it will be a lot more successful for it, in my opinion. Anyways, let's get right into this article. So first, it's going to start off with saying Square Enix and Eidos Montreal have announced Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, a new video game which players take on the role of Star-Lord and command a team of Guardians. Much like Square's Avengers game, it's easy to think that Guardians of the Galaxy would be a co-op player game, with each player controlling the likes of Star-Lord, Drax, Gamora, Groot, or Rocket Raccoon. But instead, Guardians of the Galaxy is a single-player game. We spoke to Eidos Montreal to find out why. Talking to IGN, Guardians of the Galaxy Senior Creative Director Gene Fran, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that before I fuck it up, Dugas, said, we started to discuss different opportunities like multiplayer or co-op, but we were really looking at what Guardians of the Galaxy is, and it's all about those characters. It's all about colorful personalities clashing with each other, and sometimes getting along. It's a mix of these feelings, these things, their qualities, their flaws, and we thought it would be freaking awesome if you could be one of the Guardians and put you at the center of that, to be surrounded by those characters. And this is how it came to be. So first thoughts, I mean, right off the bat, I think that's an interesting way to explain it. You know, Star-Lord being the eccentric member of the team, and I mean, I wouldn't say being the glue that keeps everybody together, but the personality he has all together is very fun, and just to see him in the way he was in this gameplay trailer altogether was very interesting. And, you know, the team, I don't know what the circumstances of, you know, their backstory is and how long they've been a team and whatnot, but it does seem like they're already going to have been formed as a team, and whether or not they've been a team for a long time, I don't know. But I'll get into my thoughts about how that feature of these AI controlled companions can actually be a good thing. So anyways, continuing on, Eidos Montreal's desire to put one character at the center of the game and have those personality-filled characters revolve around them led to a system in which Star-Lord acts as the leader of the team and can issue orders to characterful, AI-controlled teammates. Dugas notes, though, that Star-Lord is the so-called leader, and so the other Guardians don't necessarily always respect him. Now, how does that play into gameplay? I don't necessarily know. Does that mean your actions? Because this is also somewhat of a decision-based game. It's not just full-on combat story driven. You get to change the outcome of some of these encounters, I believe. So it's definitely a replayable game, and it's much better for that, as opposed to following somewhere in Avengers footsteps where it's not as replayable because it's a linear story that you have to wait for each update to get expanded on. So there you go. That's one reason why this game is going to have a better outlook than having that for Avengers. There you go. Let's see. All right. So they quote, "You're not leading them officially, and sometimes the Guardians will make decisions on their own." I don't know how that will work in terms of combat, though. I don't know if that's just for story, because if in combat they ignore you and are selfish enough not to help like heal you up or protect you or fight with you, that's gonna be interesting to see how they play that out. It'd be interesting to see how AI works like that. But we talk about this kind of ecosystem in which the other Guardians can be characters on their own, make their own decisions, have their own reactions, and you as a so-called leader, as a player, decide how to react to those things. We thought the purpose of that was really exciting, so we dived into that to explore what it would mean for the game. And so that's why Guardians of the Galaxy is a single-player action game where you play as Star-Lord rather than a co-op game with a choice of heroes. Guardians of the Galaxy was announced as Square Enix Presents, a show that's part of a larger E3 2021 event. Oh god. For everything gaming related this month, be sure to check out IGN's blah, 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 blah. Alright, so anyways, that's their reasoning for having a single player, only one hero playable experience. Now, in some people's eyes, that still isn't good enough, and they're going to say it's a bad game. Now, here's where I think the AI companions really have a place in this game that's going to make it a lot funner for the experience, right? You have the base Guardians. Whether or not they really do like give you an option to dive deep into what you can do with those Guardians and their own abilities and whatnot, I'm not sure yet. I'm still curious to see how much you can dive deep into Star-Lord as a playable character with his elemental gun and what he can do, because you see he can freeze stuff, but I'm not sure what exactly other abilities he has that you can unlock with that, and what other combo strings and whatnot that, you know, they haven't gone too deep into that. So once we get a little closer, maybe like, I want to say August, September, hopefully we'll get a better deep dive into the combat system and all that stuff. But as far as the AI teammates go, now I don't know if they would ever do this personally, but the Guardians have been much more than just the base Guardians you see today. There's been many different people on the team that have swapped places with different heroes, you know, Gamora disappearing and Drax not being there, or Groot being somewhere else, or Rocket not being here. Team separated and different versions of Guardians have come together. You know, they have a very diverse cast of people that they can have in this game for Guardians. And you saw Mantis was actually in the trailer. So whether or not she joins your team and is actually somewhat playable as the AI teammate, that speaks a lot to whether or not they can add future other heroes to the team. Now, in the last few years, I mean, there's been people like Agent Venom, Flash Thompson on the Guardians of the Galaxy. There's been Iron Man. There's been, Adam Warlock. There's been a lot of people who have joined. I mean, even Nova was helping the team for a certain period of time in the comics. You know, there's been people that have joined on and off. So they definitely have options if they want to kind of expand that and give you more options to play as, you know, and not just get bored using maybe Gamora, Drax, Groot, and Rocket. So that's potentially where I could see that going. And I don't really know how further along they'll keep this game going, if it's just base package game and that's it, or will they give it DLCs? I have no clue. It's too early to tell right now. But I would assume that we might get little insights to that as we get closer to a release date. But yeah, the decisions making of this game, you know, I think that they took a better route for this game than trying to make it multiplayer. And yes, while of course multiplayer, playing as your different teammates would be nice, it's a better focus for one character to have all that attention, and you can mess and manipulate different scenarios. You know, it's essentially what I've been calling it is a Telltale Guardians of the Galaxy game 5.0. That's what I would call it, because that's essentially what it is. You got the combat, you got the gameplay, and then you have the Telltale aspect of it with the decision making, but on a better level that seems to interact with how they incorporate it into maybe combat and the story. So that's personally my thoughts on why the game is single player, and that's their explanation for it in this article. Definitely let me know down below what you guys think about it. Are you guys excited for it? I'm personally gonna buy it day one. I'm buying the Cosmic Deluxe Edition. I honestly think that this game is actually going to be really good. Combat wise, we just need to see more of what Star-Lord can do and how he can utilize his team, because it just looks like he's doing regular combo team moves, as opposed to maybe using different abilities that they can have. Like Groot definitely probably could have some type of healing capabilities, or self regen. I don't know. They all have their own capabilities that they could make very good use of. And story wise, I don't really know where they're gonna take the campaign. I've noticed people saying they don't want to see like Ronan or Thanos, or them from the MCU type arc, where they lead up to, it's Thanos, big reveal. Yeah, I somewhat agree with that, because I don't want to see similar characters we've already seen the Guardians face before. I want to see something new. They could deal with Kree if they want to. I think that would be cool. Maybe Scrolls too. I just want to see them do something different we haven't seen them do before. And along with that, we're going to see some probably really cool designs for other characters that we have seen before, and maybe a new character we haven't seen before ever either. You never know. The future for this game is bright. It's only just begun. We've gotten the first reveal for it, and the reactions are a little mixed because of the single player thing, but definitely keep your eyes open. It's got potential. But anyways, I'm going to end it off here. Definitely let me know what you think. Drop a like on the video, subscribe if you enjoy the content. Definitely going to be covering this game a lot. Look out for Avengers videos. I have some thoughts on that. I wasn't exactly at all impressed with everything that they showed, for their little 2 to 5 minute presentation for Avengers, but I get it. But I'll talk about it in another video. Don't worry. But I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.